This question's been lingering in my mind for a minute, and then when I saw what happened with what's his name, YTK or Y3K Osiris, and between him and Suki Hana, many of y'all know as a Miami female rapper, I had to ask some questions. I had some questions on my mind. I had some questions that needed to be answered. And I said to myself, I said this: I believe the brand of toxic feminism that is out here and about today is somehow seething its teeth slowly and slowly. Now, make no mistake, it's already somewhat or another seeped its teeth a long time ago into pop music. But now, I think now it's making its way into hip-hop music, and particularly female hip-hop. Now, the reason I say this is because of the litany of different artists that I've seen, female artists, that have come out, said what they wanted to say in the guise of whether it be political or whatever the case may be, or the advocacies of what they support. Now, I saw a lot of women the other day, and they were supporting Suki Hana or whatever the case may be or whatever, and I hope more people saturate the video that I posted up of her doing something that was, in my opinion, worse than what YK3 or YK2, whatever his name is, Osiris did to her, which was blatantly just try to kiss her. This woman was on stage damn near molesting Drewski, and no one said nothing at the time. No one said nothing. So in my opinion, and I think many people will agree, I think there's a form of toxic feminism that's seeping in to female hip hop. I'll give you another example, Glorilla. Shout out to her. Shout out to who put her out. FNF. I'm FNF, yeah, fuck nigga free, I don't give up about that, all that shit, right? Remember that? It's a part of toxic feminism. That's a part of saying that men ain't worth nothing, and I'm everything. I am the prize, blah, 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 blah. And in some cases, some of these women are the prize. Let's not get it messed up. But in this particular situation and what I'm seeing that's happening in hip hop music, it's taking a foray and a move with the female artists into this toxic feminist space. I'm not talking about feminism, I'm talking about toxic feminism. And these girls are embracing it. Some of them come from it, some of them were raised in it. By their mothers, by their aunties, my grandma. They were raised in the brand of toxic feminism, where you are everything and a man is nothing. You sit there and you accept all the gifts, all the glamour, everything that comes along with it. I bust my ass and whatever. You sit home free and do nothing. Well, if we're talking about that in the traditional sense, I guess in the traditional sense, most of these women are not traditional anymore, because most of them say, I ain't cooking, I ain't cleaning, I ain't washing. Then what do I have you for? What do I have you for? And many more women are going to start in the fruition of this, probably in another year or so, start asking themselves the same goddamn question. What, he got a point. What else do I offer? What else do I offer? A lot of these female rappers that are multi-millionaires, outside of them, what they can provide, what they can buy, their personalities are nobody's. I mean, nobody cares. Would you want to sit down and have an in-depth conversation with Suki Hana about what? Would you want to sit down and have an in-depth conversation with many of these female rappers? It's to find out what's on their mind. You wouldn't. You would find it boring. And you'll find most of them are boring. I've talked to female rappers, and most of them don't have any substance to them, outside of the fact that they get on TV or get on online and be half naked and whatever the case may be, and you got a whole crowd of girls behind them. You go girl, take it off more. Many of these female rappers, like I mentioned with Suki Hana, have OnlyFans. For free. Suki Hana's OnlyFans is for free. Go check it out. The fact that there's not a branch of women that are speaking against some of the things that these girls do, the way they present themselves. We got girls that are ex-strippers that are getting married, having babies, and living a lifestyle. And I'm telling you, toxic feminism has entered into the foray of female hip-hop. Now, you may not see it right now, but you're going to see it in a minute. You're going to see it in the lyrics. Their lyrics are going to get more atrocious. It's going to get more abrasive. It's going to get more misandry put into it. It's already some now. Like I use the FNF song by Glorilla. I'm FNF, yeah, oh, nigga free. That's toxic feminism. We live in a world now, and I said this yesterday, where misandry can be practiced open, without regrets, without any snapback or anything else. Basically, if you're a woman and you're online, you can say whatever you want to say. You can't tell me anything different. I got kicked off TikTok, and that's why I never went back to TikTok. I got kicked off TikTok because I put in a funny video and I said a cuss word. You go on TikTok, you'll see women on there defiantly talking about how they hate men, defiantly talking about I ain't gonna cook, I ain't gonna clean, all this other extra shit. And this is all coming from a chick that makes less than $50,000 a year looking for a multi-millionaire husband. How does that work? How does that work? If you never seen more than $50,000 in a year, how does that work? So they think they are these female rappers. And you ladies are not these female rappers. You're not going to go to the club and spend 2 bands, 3 bands, $10,000, whatever the case may be. You're not going to be in a private jet going to wherever you want to go, whatever. See, toxic feminism seeping into the hip-hop community, specifically with the female rappers, is the worst thing that can happen. Because now you're giving these girls the imagery, once again, of a fake reality. And they become even more delusional, this portion of women that I'm talking about, than they already got. See, when you have a female rapper, it's just like the same thing with the guy rappers. You tell them, yeah, you can have it all, you can do this all, and then when they find out they can't, sometimes it's too late. Sometimes you're an old fogey chick now, nobody won't fuck with you. So if you don't understand what I'm talking about, that's fine. I saw a couple people hopped off or whatever. No, there's no way that could be. Yes, there is a way that can be. Yes, there is a way it can be. I'll tell you like this, guys. Let me share this real quick and I'm going to come right back. I'll make sure I get some people in here and talk about this. Because some of my topics, people just don't like to talk about. They're afraid to talk about it. Or I'm just ahead of the curve before y'all get to talking about it. Like I tell you, toxic feminism is going to become a thing within hip-hop. And you're going to start hearing some of these women scream out some stuff that you've never heard them scream out before. They might start screaming out the Me Too movement in their songs heavily. They might start screaming out, fuck a man, hell with men, blah, 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 over and over and over and over and over again. Make no mistake about it. Because of the popularity, because of the influence and everything else, toxic feminists, not to be mistaken with real feminists, are going to enter the arena when it comes to female hip-hop. It's only a matter of time. And when it happens, I want y'all to remember to come back to this post and be like, he told us. He told us yet again. I tell you straight up and down, I'm a God blessing to a lot of y'all. Because I'm telling y'all what's going to happen. These other people, they get on here and they tell you what happened after it happened and try to explain it, put it in context what happened after it happened. I'm telling y'all what's going to happen before it happens. And what's going to happen is they're going to start going after the girls, specifically black and Latin girls. They're going to specifically go after them. You're going to see it with these high-end feminist movements. Now, you don't have to take my word for it, but you'll actually have some of the women. And one of the demonstrations I saw from it, and it got a lot of kickback, was on Fresh and Fit show. They had a female rapper on there. I forgot what her name is. I haven't seen much of it. I think her name is Asian Doll. Yeah, I saw how she came on there acting. All her tenets and everything she was saying on there at the time were in the guise of toxic feminism. You ain't got to talk to her like that. And I don't give a fuck. All that extra shit, right? Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear this. And I don't care if you don't want to hear it at all. But when it happens, and it translates, and it's in your face, a year from now, 2 years from now, you're going to come right back to this post, and you're going to be like, damn, he was right. So I'm giving you a warning right now. Start talking to your women. Start being familiar with them. Start talking to some of these female artists besides just buying this single or dancing to it in the club. Start talking to them like I like to try to talk to them all the time online. And tell them, listen, Glorilla, listen, Sukihana, listen, Don't let these toxic feminists, because there's some of them are amongst your supporters. That's why I tell you, we got to start putting more of the guys on the supporters, the subscribers, the donators. That's what we got to start putting our interest at. And I said this earlier, and I'll say it again. And I saw that chick that went live, and she did just like clockwork. That chick had came over to my page, and I'm about to block her today. She had came right over to my page, or she went over to King Payne's page, because she seems to scurry around the internet. And this chick, amongst 4 other chicks that I know that come to this page and try to get the skinny and get what's going on, they did exactly what I talked about. They exerted toxic feminism. They got online, they started talking dirty about Jag, started talking, oh, they got him now. And they were collecting donations. This one particular girl, she's right now in the community section. She's right now in the community section. Y'all can go over there and check her out. Notice that I circled that she had a Cash App going across the screen. Notice that I showed that she would, and I circled in the picture along with her link, I circled that she would be talking dirty about Jag and she would be collecting money. Now, I did a whole hour-and-a-half video about Jag. I'm telling y'all about toxic feminism. I did a whole hour-and-a-half listening about Jag just a little while ago. I tried to jump on it before the other ones did because I knew what they were going to do. And do you know that whole hour-and-a-half, I had a dude come in. His name was Bright Streets or some shit like that. And he says to me, this is what he says to me. He says, I was going to donate to you, but you riding with her. I said, wow. You was going to donate to me, but I'm riding with her. I don't know if that's a threat. I don't know if that's like you better change your direction and get on board with us and bash her. That ain't going to happen. I don't bash chicks. I only bash chicks when it's needed. I don't bash chicks just to be bashing chicks. Aha, she went back to jail. That's punk shit. We don't do that. The dudes I know would check me if they heard me saying some shit like that. They don't mind me sitting up here and talking about the girls and saying, hey, y'all doing this wrong, y'all doing that wrong. But to just get up here and bash a motherfucker and take cash apps for it, nah, that ain't my style. And it wasn't even your story, sweetheart. Y'all see her name in the community section. Some of y'all familiar with her. Some of y'all motherfuckers come check me, y'all go follow her. For all I know, the bitch might be watching right now. Which she probably is. Because it was mighty funny. I looked at the timestamp and you went live either during when I was talking or shortly before I was talking. I could tell by the timestamp because you just ended it 9 minutes ago. You went live and now approximately 3.5 hours ago and you ended it in 9 minutes. Yes, you heard me correctly. This woman did a 3.5 hour live grabbing donations, and I looked at the live and I saw the people that are donating. I grabbed one name off of there. They'll be coming over here. We won't see that bitch no more. We won't see that bitch no more. We won't see that bitch no more. I told y'all, just like fucking clockwork, that's what would happen. And there it is. Y'all make sure y'all hit the Cash App right now. $STRINGERBELL80. Or hit the PayPal. Show me that we can conjugate and make money without making fun of somebody's demise. Because that shit just gets on my nerves at this point. And I'm telling y'all, and you don't have to believe me, but this toxic brand of feminism is setting its eyes on the female rappers next. Now, if you hear this and you in the industry or you friends of mine in the industry, take heed and start letting these girls know, because some of these girls are young and they will fall right victim to it like a Glorilla, like a Sukihana. They'll fall victim to this toxic feminism that they're trying to inject in order to further demise the relationships that you have between black men and black women and Latin men and white women. Latin men sit around and pretend a lot, but nigga, a lot of your women are going to date white boys. Same thing with Asian men. Same thing with Indian men. Have you not noticed that your women are going chasing after white men because they think that they have some point that they can be some offer and he'll take care of them forever and ever and ever? My Little Pony, My Little Pony. Sound like fucking teenagers. Teenagers. But this is how a lot of these girls think, so we have to accept it. And if we want to circumnavigate it, then the men, and I hate to say this, but I've said it before, you got to start listening to some of these chicks. Some of these chicks, I'm going to say they got some valid motherfucking points. And a lot of times when they go on these shows, I've said it before, a lot of the dudes don't listen to them. They're ready to respond the same way they're accusing the girls of just quickly responding. And that's not fair. Sometimes you got to let them talk, because I hear the girls sometimes and they're talking on these shows, and I hear them and they're like, just listen to me. That's really what they're saying. Just listen to me. Just listen to me. And if you got that ear to not respond, but hear them instead, you'll understand at that point why they are electing to side with toxic feminists that listen to them. Do you not understand this, fellas? So I hate to say it this way, but some of y'all got to bulk up into shit too. I talk about the men too. Some of y'all are some sucker motherfuckers. Some of y'all are some sucker motherfuckers. You go lay up with chicks and stay there for a year, 2 years. Never mind that the girl live in the project somewhere on the 5th floor, 6th floor, 7th floor. I seen it. And that whole time that you staying there, you buying new sneakers, you buying new clothes, y'all eating real good, you buying motherfucking steaks and fucking lobster with a food stamp card. I wish I could get a food stamp card. You're buying shit with a food stamp card, looking at the kids and being like, yeah, they good, telling your homies over in the hood they good, or whatever the case may be. But the whole time you ain't thinking in the back of your mind what she must think of you. The whole time that you there for 2 years, 3 years before she get hip and throw your ass the fuck to the side and say to herself, I can do better. You never thought for 5 seconds, what can I do to move shorty and maybe and possibly sometimes those kids up out of these housing projects? You see what I'm saying? So that would attribute to a woman not having any faith in a man. So as long as you got those representations and you don't have anything to counter that, man, other than your words versus your actions, this is why you're seeing a lot of the kickback. And if you don't start doing that and listening to some of these girls, I hate to say it, some of them have had genuine stories of things where they've been abused, where they've been harmed, where they've been hurt, or whatever. And I hear it. Now, even when I watch these shows sometimes here on YouTube and it has to revolve around relationships and shit like that, I sit back and listen. That's why I easily can tell when a chick is lying or when she's telling the truth. I used to be right over there with Rich Dollars and my ex-boss, Sean Press, Still Boss Love You. I used to be right over there with them in their show, and their show was based on relationships. And I could tell the difference between the chick was coming in there piggyback lying off when one of the girls was on the screen or something and she was telling her story, and I could tell the difference between when these girls were telling the truth. One video they had up and they invited somebody in, and this chick said whatever she said about this man. So she had just got out of the hospital or whatever. He wasn't there to support her or whatever. And this happened to be that the boy walked in the house. Now, it was her crib, don't get me wrong. But her intentions were to make this man look bad. And he said, what? I wasn't at the hospital with you? Huh? I didn't support you when you was having bad times? Huh? And I saw this with my own 2 eyes. This was on my ex-boss's show. So there are 2 different types of females out here that have intentions and backing when it comes to this feminist thing in 2023. I'm not talking about Amelia Earhart and Susan B. Handy and the freaking women's suffrage movement of the 1880s. This is some new shit. And what the media and a lot of YouTube personalities are doing is, female YouTube personalities that are particularly misandrous. If you don't know the definition of that, they hate men. They're influencing these girls. And a lot of these girls that listen to Koresha, I ain't gonna say that about you. I don't think you really said anything outside the sexual stuff you say on there, so I'm not gonna come at you. Yo, what's up, dog? One love. What's going on, Super Chuck? These ladies are yearning for you to listen to them, fellas. And even if they say some bullshit, listen to them. Listen to them. Just shut your mouth and listen to them and fold in the possibility that there was a motherfucker that they dealt with. And I know a lot of people sit back and they say, oh, well, you know, all fellas ain't like it. Of course we know all fellas ain't like that. But when you got fellas that got certain types of behavior that usually is attested to them having a single mother, in my opinion, a bad single mother versus a good single mother. Shout out to the single mothers that took their sons and their daughters around around their uncles, grandfather, and other men, instead of playing Barbie dolls with your nieces playing Barbie dolls with their cousins and shit like that. Shout out to those single moms. But ladies, y'all got to come on the realization too. A lot of these men that y'all complaining about, you're complaining about the product of another woman. A lapsadaisical woman. A woman that wasn't about much. A woman, you know, Grandma Tamika that's 34 years old, that's still listening to 50 Cent. That's still at the club. And this kid has grown his whole life up being around that. And now mama is still young because she had him at 12, 13, 14, 16, 17 years old. So mama is still young. She's still at the club. She's still moving around. She's done this for predominantly most of his life because she was in her 20s when he or she was being raised. Now that you get out into the world, you got two motherfuckers that don't know how to act according to social standards. You don't have a man that will basically live by survival techniques, and you have a woman that may be educated, may go through all the things that she needs to go through to hire her education, but at the same time she holds a high bit of resentment for men based on what happened to her, based on what her mother might have told her all her life, etc., etc., etc. So I'm telling you, big bloggers and other guys, the way that we counteract this shit, and the only way you're going to counteract it, because I'm hearing this off the lips of most of these girls, you have to listen to them. I don't want toxic feminism to come into the new age of artists, female artists, and be the helm of it, and take hip-hop to somewhere sour where it's never been before, and ultimately extinguish the fire that once was hip-hop here on the 50th anniversary of hip-hop. Super Chuggy said that's correct. That's all I need to say, man. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. If you're just now tuning in, make sure you go back to the beginning of this podcast and check it out from the beginning. Guys, I can't emphasize how much I need y'all Cash Apps. I need y'all to support this channel. Make sure y'all go and hit up the Cash App, the PayPal, whatever. And instead, when I'm mentioning it, you just jump out. But I saw a lot of y'all, and I had to block somebody today. I had to block two people today, but the second person I had to block was because, and it goes in correlation with this conversation, and I said it earlier, I did an earlier live, and I went for about an hour and a half. And I was talking about Jaguar Wright, and she's been rearrested, unfortunately, by some happenstance by other women. A different creed of women, if you want to say. In my opinion, no disrespect to her, Jaguar a real bitch, even though she do some silly shit sometimes. I don't agree with every fucking thing she do. That's still my nigga. You understand? So, when I ride with my niggas, I don't turn my back on them. Something y'all motherfuckers don't understand. A lot of y'all bitch ass niggas was riding with her 2 years ago. Now 2 years later, here you are, talking about, oh, that bitch wrong. But you supported her, so you wrong too. Anyway, I said in an hour and a half long live, I said, watch, you're going to see a whole bunch of women come after and attack her, all in effort to gain Cash Apps. What did they do? Da-da-da. They did exactly what the fuck I said they was going to do. And I caught the first one. She's right in the community section. This broad went for 3 hours and a half, smashing down on another woman. These are toxic feminists, because I've watched this woman's channel before, and she has a lot of diatribe where she talks about feminism, toxic brands of feminism, talks about hating men in a misandrous point of view and structure, repeatedly, day after day after day after day. This is what's wrong with men. I don't like men. I don't like men. Chick, the motherfucking YouTube channel that you using right now was created by men. The motherfucking job you go to tomorrow, if you have one, 9 times out of 10, a man hired you. On your way home, if you're catching a train, or whatever the fuck else you're doing, it's probably a man that's a fucking conductor. I'm tired of hearing this shit about, oh, the man this, I hate men that, from this particular branch of women. The men this, the men that, I hate men. It's everybody's fucking fault but yours. And what I'm saying is, chick, maybe you should look in the fucking mirror sometimes and be like, you know what, maybe it might be me. Maybe it fucking might be me. If you've been through 4 boyfriends in the past 3 years, chick, it might be you. If you had more than 6 sexual partners within the first 4 months of this year, chick, it might be you. That's all I'm saying. It might be you. And until more of us start accepting that point, ladies, then you will allow toxic feminism and a whole bunch of other shit to creep in and creep out. Now, to that particular young lady and the other ladies that are going to follow behind and exert their toxic feminism, because that's what it is, exert their toxic feminism amongst the people. I want to say this. Ladies, before you take that long ride and start bashing Jaguar Wright, another woman, may I add, another black woman, may I add, you know, the black queens. I told you, I don't believe that queen shit. Some of these bitches are poppers and the court gestures. Don't y'all believe that shit? That's big. If every woman is a queen, who the fuck is the court? If every woman is a queen, who fucking makes up the court of the royal court? Nobody's ever answered that question. You ever notice that? If every woman is a fucking queen, who makes up the court? Nobody's ever answered that. And it's damn sure not none of these chicks that you see performing here on YouTube talking about everybody, screaming about everybody, matter-of-factly about everybody, and most importantly, they're now circumnavigating their direction and attention to other women. They're circumnavigating their navigation to other women, bashing other women online. And nobody said shit. Nobody said shit. And quite matter-of-factly, most women will stay quiet about the subject. They'll stay quiet about it. So that's why today, when I did that hour-and-a-half live, and nobody donated, I said to myself, yeah, that's it. And then when I had that one boy come in, Street Vibes, or whatever the fuck your name was, I said, nigga, that was perfect timing. You just confirmed exactly what I was saying here. You cannot get donations talking positively about someone, but you can get donations talking negative about someone, specifically of your own race. And that's what's going to creep in. Hey, what's up, Nat? That's what's going to creep in here. Guys, I'm going to go dormant for about, I don't know, maybe a minute, and I'll be right back. I just wanted to talk about this subject real quick because I'm afraid here on the 50th anniversary of hip-hop, an industry that I've been part of and was part of for 17 years. Definitely go check it out, man. I appreciate it, man. I did about an hour-and-a-half live on Jaguar, whatever. Like I said, I'll even include it here since I'm mentioning it in the description box so you guys can go find it for yourself. But the reality is, black women shouldn't be attacking other black women online for sports and for financial gain. And if y'all accept that, and like a motherfucker that was over here earlier, I ain't gonna say who it was, but like a motherfucker was over here earlier and thought she was gonna get, no, bitch, I know where all y'all niggas be at. I know where all y'all niggas be at. I said, I know the first two motherfuckers is gonna say something, and they're gonna talk about King Payne, and they're gonna talk about Jaguar. And just like clockwork, here's this bitch going live for 3 hours and a half. And she was able to collect, because I fast forwarded the live and all that shit or whatever. It only took me a couple minutes. I fast forwarded the live that the chick did. Like I said, it's in the community section. Y'all go check it out for yourself. And y'all see, she created not only a funnel to make money, but she made over at least $300. So I'm asking myself, I'm sitting up here saying, I need to make $500. I've got more followers than this chick. My diatribe daily is not the same shit she does. And when you talk about somebody positively in the culture, there's no reprimand for that. There's no cash payout for that. No, instead, you get embarrassed. Instead, you get ignored. Instead, people will be, what you doing? You ain't talking about nobody? Heck, women do it in the workplace every day. Exactly. Me and Annette, and there are enough conversations about chicks bothering her. I ain't gonna go into detail because that's her business. But it's the truth. And so, ladies, I'll keep saying the same consistent message. You've got to separate yourself from these OnlyFans bitches and all that shit and come to reality. You are a college graduate. You were going to be an RN or LPN. You're going to be a phlebotomist or whatever the case may be. And you worked hard and diligent to become that. Don't you mess yourself up with these lousy motherfucking bitches. And to the female rappers, don't you mash yourself up with these lousy ass bitches that are going to come in and they're going to try to use you. Now, the first one I see they're going to probably try to use is Koresha. Now, Puff, or anybody at the team, if y'all hear this, y'all make her alert to that. All right? Puff, or you, or anybody on the team hear that, make her aware of that. Because she's so popular right now. And I saw where they tried to run her the other day and her and Nikki got into something. I ain't going to get into that. Nikki team, too. Nikki, you managed by Bad Boy. It was light though, you know what I'm saying? But you managed by Bad Boy, so stop it. Long story short, ladies, female rappers, do not let toxic feminism come into female hip-hop. They are going to use you. It is another systematic way of using you, and they just now are figuring it out. And as popular as the music genre is, especially with female rappers right now, you're the next target. Well, I'm not going to say you the next target because you've already been targeted. But that's the next target as far as the genre. Trust me when I tell you this, ladies. So don't fall victim to this shit because they put you in front of a camera or they make you look. I wish I could have took the scarred lip. She done popped off now, so now she don't talk to me no more. But I'm telling you, scarred lip, if you see this, same thing with you, sweetheart. Stop talking to these motherfuckers. Don't go on Complex divulging your whole shit. Don't go on these motherfucking outlets divulging your whole shit. I was kind of upset when I saw you on fucking Blood divulging your whole shit like that. No offense against Blood, but you're just too young to be on camera talking about shit like that. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. If you don't, you don't. Shout out to Scarlett holding down New York City. She's popping right now. She could be a target on her next single. Hey, let me put this in your ear. Why don't you do it this way? That's what happens when you get with... See, many of y'all don't know. Most of the people that are involved in the circulation of artists, many of them haven't had white faces. You'll find a few black ones in between or whatever, a few Latin ones in between. When I worked in the music industry, that's all I worked with mostly was blacks and Latins when I first started out, all right? So I know this for a fact. But when you get into the upper echelons of how things are going, you're going to find there's going to be a lot of white faces. And a lot of these white faces, they work for bigger entities or conglomerates as a whole. And what they'll do is they will use you to propel a message. I saw them do it to Billie Eilish. They did the same thing to Billie Eilish, and she's a white girl. They used Billie Eilish to basically signal out and put out a signal that they wanted to put out. They did the same thing with Miley Cyrus when she did her little stunt with hip hop and then went back to Disney Plus type music. They did the same thing with Katy Perry. I kissed the girl and all. They already ran the pop. And now it's hip hop's time with the ladies. So girls, be smart. Don't embrace these motherfuckers when they come to you. Say, we got a check for you for $1.2 million. The only thing you got to do is say these couple of lyrics. It's a setup. The purpose, in my opinion, right now in society is to remove and move men and women from procreating as much as they can because there are less resources and more people internationally. There are less resources available, but more people being born every day. If you don't believe me, just check the new demographics internationally, you'll see worldwide. And many of these places that supply us are grain, or rice, or corn, or whatever, they come from international facilities. So if you have less children, that means less motherfuckers consume it. Don't you get it? Man, it's hard for me not to ham these itches up. They really don't know or have no idea. I'm just saying, yeah, I hear you. I hear you, man. I hear you. I'm just trying to break down the whole play of how, if there was anything such as the Willie Lynch letter, you see in part 2 of it being played right in front of you right now. Guys, I'll be back with you in the next live in about 5 minutes. Make sure you hit up the Cash App, $STRINGERBELL80. Again, that's $STRINGERBELL80. Make sure y'all hit that up right now. Donate $10, $20, whatever. I've got to raise some cash. I'm trying to do what I can, and I'm trying to make sure that I stay consistent with bringing y'all stories. TMH Global gave me some motivation yesterday. Shout out to Miss Foster. She always gives me motivation, and everybody else that donates, but we need more of y'all to donate. I got damn near 15,000 followers, and you trying to tell me there's only a segment of them that show up in my lives, there's only a segment of them that donate? No, that's not it. There's more to it than that. And I'll sit with you guys and go live with you or whatever, and I don't care about that. But the way that YouTube has set up things and they want you to go live for 3-4 hours or whatever, I'm sorry. I can't play those measures. I've done 3 or 4 hour lives many of times and sat back and nobody donated at the end. So what I'm trying to figure out, and I hope you as black and Latin people help me figure out, and white people that vote, why is it you're so hesitant to donate to me like that motherfucker earlier? And that's why I went over there to that girl's page. Ain't no shots at you necessarily. Say what you want to say. I'm not here to be you know what I mean? I'm not here to be a conformist. I'm not here to make you do whatever. I'm just saying think before you start talking. Because when you do start talking, you realize and you think that you're separating yourself from another black woman, but in reality, you're talking about yourself too. And you're embarrassing yourself by doing this. And that same young lady I'm talking about, you ain't got one motherfucking upload talking about somebody white. That's why I don't respect it. Every last one of your lives is talking about somebody black or Latino. And if you check out most of these motherfuckers that do this type of diatribe, they always talk about somebody black or Latino. Oh, J-Lo did this. Oh, this one did this. But never talk about their motherfucking self. Never talk about themselves. Guys, make sure y'all hit up the Cash App right now. Show some support. $STRINGERBELL80. I will be back in less than 5 to 10 minutes, and I'll be on with the next one.